The nice part about our space is kind of still feels like you're in someone's home, just a larger version of their home. So we can really accommodate a lot of different style events where we are.
Welcome to Brew Talks. I'm Steve Stroud. I'm President and CEO of Roswell, Inc. We're the economic development organization in the city of Roswell.
And I'm Andy Williams, President and CEO of Visit Roswell. We're the official destination marketing organization for the city of Roswell. And we have a great guest on today, somebody that we work with very closely. We've got Abbey from Naylor Hall, one of our most well-known and successful wedding and special events venues right here, smack downtown. Located just off Canton Street. So, Abbey, it's great to have you on with us.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very excited to have you guys.
Thank you.
So, we're going to jump right into it. We're going to talk about the actual venue itself and really kind of how you jumped into the wedding scene and that type of business. But we want to know about you first. Obviously, you influence a lot of the business that takes place, specifically the social market and the weekend business that is so important here in Roswell. But we always like to give our listeners a little bit of an opportunity to understand your background, your foundation, and kind of how you got into this line of business. So just start from the ground up if you want.
Okay. Well, I kind of fell into it. It definitely wasn't what I thought I was going to do. I went to college to be a high school English teacher.
Wow.
Yeah. I figured out pretty quickly that wasn't what I was meant to do.
Sure.
I did 1 year of student teaching in Columbia, South Carolina. I went to University of South Carolina for college.
Gamecock.
I was a Gamecock, yep. And then I came back here and started bartending. That's always what I had done all through school, and it was familiar. So I did that for a while, and someone said, I have to introduce you to Sunny. I think you guys would get along really well, Sunny Bailey. So I went and met with her, and she said, I really don't need anyone right now. And I was like, okay.
Okay.
Well, is there anything else I can do? And she said, well, I need a bartender in 2 days. And I said, got it. I'll do that. So I started bartending the events with her for about a year, and we just got along really well. And then she did need help, and she asked me, and I kind of stumbled into it that way. So it feels like a natural next step from bartending and waiting tables. Sunny used to always say, I just found a way to wait tables forever, because it's the same thing. You're just taking care of people, hospitality. So it felt like a natural next step from that. Yeah.
Well, that's true. And if you've ever served, waited tables, you learn a lot. You deal with a lot of different personalities. You understand all the facets of just working with various personalities and responding to. Sometimes it's a good night, sometimes it's a not so good night. And the social industry, the wedding industry, whether it's weddings or even corporate events that you guys host at Naylor Hall, you get a lot of different things that happen. And you've got to be kind of 2 steps ahead, but you also have to understand that sometimes things happen that you can't control, and you just have to have a game plan for that.
That's right.
So, and we're going to get into that too. But I want to go a little bit further too, and just talk about the type of business that you're booking at Naylor Hall. We've got, roughly 20, let's call it 20 wedding special events venues here in Roswell. Steve, you like to say the stat, outside of Savannah and Atlanta, we're up there as, the top 3 wedding destinations. And I think when people probably see Naylor Hall, it's that antebellum style, 1800s style building, historic in nature, and they probably immediately think just weddings, which I know is the lion's share of the business, but you guys are more than just weddings. So can you talk about your business model and the types of clientele that you're actually pursuing?
Yeah, we look for really everything. Honestly, the non-wedding events are some of my favorite events to do there too. Yeah. We do a lot of holiday parties.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, those are some of my favorite. Those are fun. We do a lot of corporate things, so we'll do, multiple day meetings. We'll do morning breakfasts. Anything that corporate needs, we're happy to do. And then we do a lot of other celebrations like milestone birthdays,
anniversary parties,
rehearsal dinners. We love rehearsal dinners. So we're open to really anything somebody needs a space for. The nice part about our space is kind of still feels like you're in someone's home, just a larger version of their home. So we can really accommodate a lot of different style events where we are.
Well, it is kind of, you're situated on Canton Street with a beautiful yard. You have some great events out on the yard, which is awesome. And then on top of that, you've got parking in the back. That's really easy and convenient.
Yes, and that's rare on Canton Street. So that's a really big point for us, is we've got a nice big parking lot. And being actually on Canton Street is a great, part of it too. People can walk up and down the street afterwards. They can
right.
leave their car, go enjoy lunch or something like that. So we're just situated in a really great part of Canton Street, I think.
Well, and speaking of Canton Street, I don't know the exact number, but 65.83% of the visitors to Canton Street are actually from outside of the city of Roswell.
Yes.
And so talk about like where your, the bridal parties, the wedding guests, the corporate event, are they nearby? Are they predominantly based in Roswell? Or are they coming from all over the place? Because that's a big part of it.
Yeah, I do probably about 70% are people local, not necessarily to Roswell, but at least like the metro Atlanta area. But we do a lot of destination. Like you said, behind Savannah, we're number 2 or 3, I think, for destination events. And I think that's because we have great hotels nearby that offer shuttle services to and from Canton Street and Naylor Hall. And then once you're at Naylor Hall, I mean, everything's walkable. If you want to go shopping, want to grab lunch, want to go to a bar, I mean, there's everything right nearby, including the lodging. So that's a really important piece of it, I think.
Yeah,
so we do a good bit of out of town, out of state.
Well, like Andy said, you've got 20 plus venues that I will say matured and have grown up together in the area, and there'll probably be some more as we get some more hotel product that Andy has worked really hard on. And what we see is the collaboration, right? Where you guys, hey, if it doesn't fit here, we'll go try it over there.
Yes.
Hey, by the way, I know somebody that's got something that works, which again is part of that fabric we talk about with Roswell businesses working together.
And I think the hotel point is a big piece of it too, because for example, if you're investing in a wedding or an event, special event, wedding car, it's a big investment.
100%.
And we want to make sure that hotel product matches what those clients expect and what those guests expect. And we've got good hotel product, but one of the things that we lack, and we preach this from day one, is we don't have upper upscale product. We've got one full service hotel.
We're working.
And so the pursuit from Visit Roswell and Roswell Inc. is on getting this JDV built, getting the Kempton built, because we also understand that we do lose business to Alpharetta, to short-term rentals, for example, which there's a place for that, obviously. But we do want to see those hotels capture some of that business, because we know that when folks that are coming in town for a wedding stay in Alpharetta or some of these other communities, well, that means they're shopping and dining in those communities as well. And so we want to keep everything packaged up here, which is why we're continuing to go after that type of business.
Well, and like you said, the walkability piece. If they can walk to the hotel, man.
Oh, yeah. If they can be at a
nice is
hotel and walk to lunch, walk to the venue, that makes a huge, huge difference. People are looking for that for sure.
Yeah.
Now, are you seeing the trend? I knew it kind of dipped a little bit, because of COVID. But are you seeing trends going up on the number of events people are back out doing?
Yes. COVID was tough. I mean, I don't think we've ever dealt with anything like that before. Being in the business of gathering large groups of people together, that was tough. But as soon as people got a little more comfortable, I would say maybe 2022, maybe even early 2023. But then we took off. We took off. So busy. Everybody was ready to get out. The events were bigger, more people, because everybody was just ready to celebrate. It used to be, you invited 150 guests. You're going to have between 100, 120. People were getting like every single person saying yes. Everybody wanted something to go out and do and something to celebrate. Cool. So we've gotten busier, larger events even, I would say. So, things are definitely looking up.
So I would be remiss if I didn't mention Sunny. Obviously, near and dear to my heart, personally. And a lot of people in this community.
Yes.
So Sunny, left a legacy. Big shoes, right?
Yes, very big shoes.
And I'm obviously in conversations with David on a regular basis, Bailey. And so we appreciate their investment and continuing on. I call it her legacy of hospitality.
100%.
Because you can feel it. Like you walk in a place, we were there last week, you walk in and it just feels like she's still there, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. I had someone tell me this front room, it just feels sunny. That was the word they used. And I was like, it does. Yeah,
that's
it
a
really
compliment
does.
to you too.
Thank you. I mean, she worked there for 30 plus years.
Yes.
So I couldn't have learned. I mean, that's the only place I've done events and been a part of this industry. And I feel so lucky. I couldn't have learned from anyone.
Well, I'll say the same thing. Yeah, when I first started here, one of the very first, she was a longtime member of our board. And she was one of the first board members I met. And I just remember immediately being like, wow, I feel like I'm at home talking to her, and she's been always very supportive of our organization, as of you, Abby. And, it's just sometimes it takes you a little bit longer to warm up to somebody. Sunny was one of those that you just immediately felt like you'd known her for 10 or 15 years.
Yes, she had that gift. And that's why she was so good at what that's the most important part of everything we do. If you make people feel comfortable and welcome, they're going to have a great event.
Makes a huge difference.
Yes, and that was her gift. She was incredible at that.
So, I agree completely. And, speaking of going back to weddings and maybe even some of your more, I don't want to say cookie cutter, but, sometimes these events have templates and hey, this is how the room's going to be set up. This is the decor. This is the buffet, that good stuff. Yeah. We always like asking questions that, what are some of those crazy requests you've gotten? Or what are some of those things that have really challenged you to reinvent the space, reimagine the space? What's something that you said, I don't know, we can do this, until you did it and realized, wow, we can do this. We love learning about those types of things.
Sure. So I did a big one a couple of years ago. These two girls, they're on TikTok, which I'm not really on TikTok that much. So I didn't know who they were when they came in, but it was a lot of eyes on us. They had a lot of followers and a lot of people looking at them and wanting to see what they did. And they were one of the first where we did like everything in our front lawn.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Right. And we sit on a big piece of property being between Canton Street and Green Street. Yeah. I think looking at it, you don't necessarily realize just how expansive it is.
Yes, it is.
And we did their ceremony out there. We did a full sit-down dinner for all of them out there. I had all these magazines that were there shooting it because it was very well advertised. And that's definitely the biggest challenge that I've faced. And now since we've done that one, doing everything on the front lawn, getting all the tables out there, getting all the chairs out there, transitioning things that night as the event is happening, we've been doing so many more of those. And now they're getting, easier and easier. But at first, that initial one, that was a lot.
Cracking the code.
It took a lot of, thinking to make sure that one happened.
Yeah,
but it was beautiful.
And it is kind of cool because living off Canton Street like we do, Amy and I, a lot of times in the past would sit with Sunny and watch from afar to see what was going on. And it's really cool because people are coming down the street, and once they realize it's a wedding, it's like they go into freeze mode.
Yeah.
They're like tiptoeing on the sidewalk. They're like glued. It's just it's part of that fabric that makes Canton Street unique and different and puts your venue in a lot different light than, not that any of the others aren't, but it's just a neat feel to be walking down the street and all of a sudden there's this wedding on the front yard.
Especially on a Saturday night. I'll never forget one of we were out on a date or something and Canton Street was lively. The South End was really just awesome that night. The weather was beautiful. Then all of a sudden we saw fireworks that looked like they were like 3 blocks away. It was incredible. And Naylor Hall, I don't know if y'all had anything to do with the fireworks or if it was coincidence or what, but you guys were it was in the middle of a wedding reception and the cafe lighting was out there. It lit up the lawn and there was like a sense of energy up and down Canton Street that night. That was awesome. I mean, it was like something out of a movie. So kudos to you guys for keeping that going and obviously, hosting all those guests that are coming in from all over the place.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun having them on Canton Street because, like you said, I mean, we have so many people walking by every day. Who doesn't want to stop and watch a wedding? They've got a glass of wine. It's a nice day. Yeah. Why not? So it's fun to feel like you're in your own space, but still nice and close and part of Canton Street, which is really great.
So imagine I'm a bride, a groom. I'm in the middle of planning a wedding. I don't know where to start. And that initial phone call goes out to you. Some places are all-inclusive. Some places have preferred vendors. What is it that you're telling, your guests, your potential clients, when they're in the planning process?
I think the most important thing about our spot is our flexibility. Okay. Sometimes you go into a venue and they have certain rigid rules around timing and other big factors. And just us being small and privately owned, you're working with us, you're working with the owners, we can accommodate you as best we can. We don't have to be quite so rigid. And I think that's a really nice part of our space. We say initially this many hours, these are your vendors. But then from there, we're happy to work with you and be just a little bit more flexible than some of the larger companies. And I really like that because everybody's different. Every event they're planning is different. Their needs are different. So being able to work with them one-on-one and being able to have that flexibility makes what I do easier, and I think it makes, of course, their planning and their lives easier, which is
and you're
great.
not being passed along to a different sales manager or a different planner. You're working with Abby.
You're with me the whole time. Yep, you're with me the whole time.
Which I appreciate.
I'm there on wedding day.
Yeah.
So I like that part of it. I like working one-on-one with them. I like catering things to each individual couple.
That's great.
The flexibility, I think, is the nice part.
Well, you've got a great property there. You've got a fantastic business that's got a great reputation. So keep up the good work.
Thank you.
And in honor of our good friend, let's raise a cup and say cheers.
Cheers
to Sunny.
Corporate events, association events, first weddings, second weddings, third weddings, you name it.
Any of
Naylor's your spot.
Yep.
We appreciate it.
Thank
Cheers.
you. Thank you so much.